This is my friend Jay Vela. Like I said, he's a great coach. We've been getting our education, licensing, and coaching education together. We are both directors. I am always the director of Gala FC, and he's the director of Spokane FC, and he's a good soccer mind. Like I said, I really appreciate his mind and his opinions, and I want you guys to pay attention to what he's saying. As I've been talking about the ideal player with you guys for a while, I think you need to hear it from other people too. And as Gala is a small club, and we are very successful. I don't know if you saw that in Instagram. We have a new scholarship just a couple days ago. Colin, our keeper from last year, got a scholarship to Idaho. So it's going to be really exciting for him. We just posted that. So with him, we are up to 66 scholarships, but I know that we're going to have more. For a small club, that's insane. We double some of the big clubs in the area. So I'm excited about that. But like Spokane FC, just alone this year has been sending D1, D2 schools, the D1, D2 schools, insane amount of players. So I don't know if you guys actually play the games against Spokane teams. They're very tough, and that we're going to be talking about that in there too. I appreciate you guys all being here. All right, guys, I'm going to be starting now. We're going to be starting with the interview. All right, guys, please pay attention, and if you have any questions, you can ask. I think this is very important. I hope all the players, parents, everybody watches this. It's really critical. Thank you, guys. Enjoy.
All right. How you doing, Dante?
Good. How are you doing?
Not bad, man. All right. Yeah, my name is Jay Vela. I am the director of coaching from FC Spokane, which is on the east side of the state from you guys, about 5 hours apart, roughly. So we have a little bit different cultures over here, which is a good thing. I currently coach the B01 boys for our club, and I coach the G08 girls and the G06 girls for my club. My B01 boys won WMPL 1 this year for the U19 division against a very, very good CWSA team. And then, they were very good. 2 really good games. And then my G08 girls played in WMPL 2, and we were undefeated heading into the spring season. And obviously this COVID stuff kind of put a damper on that. And then my G06s are in WMPL 2 as well, more middle of the pack. Need a little bit of work, but we were in the process of fixing some things and trying to get better. So
yeah, well, congrats on all the success. I know you've been very successful, and I always appreciate talking to you about soccer, and I love playing with you too as well, when I get a chance in those licensing classes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I was going to give you my opinion on it, so if you wanted to share that with your players. My name is Dahan Kesim, they know me as Daji. I coach at Gala FC. I'm the director and the founder of Gala FC. I also coach the Snohomish Steelheads, the semi-pro team, and now the Gala Pro. We have such a long name for that one. Pro Focus semi-pro team as well. So
what league do they play
in?
Don't want to interrupt you, but what leagues do those 2 teams play in?
WWPL.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Western Washington Premier League, and we don't know what's going to happen with that right now. We have Crossfire in our program. We have Isekwa, from the youth programs you might know. So yeah, I mean, Crossfire is an MPL team, pretty much. MPSL team played us last year in the final, and we ended up beating them and won the league. So.
Nice.
Yeah, it was always a pleasure to beat Crossfire. I respect them a lot. I hope that I'm not gonna piss off anybody, but so I was gonna talk about, like, there's a lot of myths about being an outstanding player to be able to play college or go further than that. And I played a professional very short amount of time. I was injured, but I remember myself being very serious about going to school and training as much as I can. And I would wake up 5 in the morning before school, and I would run miles and miles, and I come back home, take a shower, and get ready for school. And unfortunately, we have a lot of guys in our part, in Everett, Snohomish area, that they feel like they just need to train once a week, and then they go out with their buddies in high school and kick the ball around, and they think they're gonna make pro. And in the last 20 years I've been coaching, I haven't seen a lot of successful stories with that math. But I mean, I sent right now we are a new club, small club, but we're up to 66 scholarships to colleges, and we have over 30 players went to semi-pro, and a couple players went to pro from our club. And from what I see, I always work with other clubs too, big clubs, but what I see is dedication to training. And I feel like a lot of these kids, they go and play on Sunday leagues. They go with their dads, and they play a different style of soccer, a lot of standing soccer, and they think that more and more they play is helping them. But I've been telling them, my perspective, Jay, I would love your opinion on that, but my perspective is more training and less games, and as much as you can, and also be very serious about your schoolwork and the choices you make in your life, your nutrition, to everything. So I just wanted your opinion on that.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer, depending on what the kid's outcome is, if it's professional, I'm a firm believer in the 10,000 hour rule. The 10,000 hour rule, if you go down and break it down from 6 years old to 21 years old, it's a significant amount of time to train on a daily basis, 4 to 6 days a week. 1 day a week nowadays is just not going to cut it. That maybe in the US may have worked, in the 80s or 90s possibly, but even then I just don't think that that's a viable option to do something that you love at a high level. So my kids, just for example, my boys train 3 to 4 days a week, depending on what availability we have at facilities. But the bare minimum we did was 3 days a week, and it was at least an hour and a half, which I like to put it right at about an hour and a half, because that's what our games are. So going any further than that sometimes is a little bit, it takes away from the competitive nature of it a little bit. Just getting tired.
Let me add something to that. You can continue after that. I just wanted them to know that your program has been sending a good amount of players, to the colleges down here. And obviously, when Jay is talking about this, you guys need to be aware that, he's been a very successful at sending high-level players towards us. I would love to see some of them playing for my semi-pro team, actually, because the players from Spokane, every time you guys know, every time you go to Spokane, it's a tough game. Like, they are fighters. We look like we are weaker players. It feels like we're going to another state, like playing against California teams. It's like a lot more physical, a lot faster based. So we are ready to defend. Usually when I go to Spokane, I'm like, okay, you know what? These guys are going to be tough, so you guys better be ready. So I think what Jay is touching is very important. I think, we definitely need to change our mentality if you want to go to next level, and you just don't understand the amount of training you need to get to that top level. Like someone like David Beckham, he was taking like 700-800 shots a day just to perfect his shot. I mean, imagine that. Like, he's obviously a good player. He made it to the youth program or professional programs in a young age, but he wanted more. And last week, Jay, I actually posted a video of Patrice Evra talking about Ronaldo. He goes to his house for barbecue, and he was complaining that it was just chicken and vegetables. And the moment that they were done with that, but this was back when he was in United, and he told them that to the players that he invited, let's go like two-touch soccer outside. And then when they were done with that, he wanted them to come swim with him. And he's like, why didn't we just, Patrice Evra said, why didn't we just stay in the training facility, like,
and just have a snack,
barbecue? And he just said everything Ronaldo got, he earned it. Patrice Evra was talking about it. I mean, I used to kind of make fun of him for being a prima donna and being pretty guy, but he definitely earned everything he gets. His work rate and how he takes care of himself as an athlete. And at the time, as you know, he already won the Ballon d'Or. He's already known as the best player in the world, and he's still wanting to get better. I think that's the attitude we just need to pass on, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
And you were saying about the college players, if you wanted to add something.
Yeah. So I have, so on my U18 team, just from this year, which I have a bunch of guys that have either, already played their collegiate career or still currently doing it. But just from this team, I sent 3 guys to St. Martin's on scholarships. I sent a kid to NNU. I think I have 2 going to PLU. I have 1 going to Whitworth. I want to say I have 4 that are committed to the community colleges around here. And then I have 3 kids that passed up offers to numerous schools to just pursue the education portion of things. But, one of my kids had several offers from 2 or 3 different Division II schools. So it's, same thing. And you talk about our culture. Spokane is significantly different than Seattle in all sorts of ways. We do play with that hard work, that violence per se, on how we do things, because we, unlike Seattle in the winter, it snows here immensely, and it's hard for us to train, and it's hard for us to find facilities. So I think we lack a little bit of the technical things that the Seattle players are more privy to, based off of where they are. So we do have to play with that balance, and that's how it was when I grew up as well. So.
Yeah, outstanding soccer players out there. I mean, I love the hard workers over the technical players myself. I mean, I was a technical player, but as a coach, I became more into the players who works harder. So it's very interesting. Sometimes goalkeepers become like an attacking mindset. Coach.
Yeah. I was a center forward, and I was a center forward when I played, and I really appreciate a good quality defensive midfielder nowadays.
Oh yeah, I was a defensive mid, and I'm all about like defending as a team, even my forwards. But we have a lot of set plays. We are successful. Like 70-80% of my goals are usually set plays. When you're defending that much, you've got to get good at set plays for sure, as you know that. And I was going to
become full chances.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I was going to ask you your opinion on some of the defensive principles. Like I was going to kind of talk about mine. As you know, like we in WNPL before, we broke a couple records. Like my teams got scored on the whole season 3 goals to 6 goals. And we end up winning the WNPL before with that mentality. I mean, obviously, to some, it's not that much fun because I'm winning games like 1-0, 2-1, but we are winning with the way that we play. I respect every other opinion. Unfortunately, people always get mad at me, but I do like the style of the Italian mindset to, the tactical mindset of the things. And one of the things I look for from my defensive players, and unfortunately, soccer players, when you talk about defense, they're only thinking about defenders and teammates. But when I talk about defense, I always talk about every single player. Every single player in the forward, goalie, in the bench. And it's important for me to make myself clear about they all need to be defending in their areas. One of the things I make my players' rules is make sure you always have a cover if you're going to be stepping. So you need to be always aware of where your surroundings are, where the players are, and all your teammates, and make sure also you're covering somebody when they're defending. So you don't, stay flat with that mindset. And then also making sure that the furthest guy, my rule with this is when a cross is coming from the left side, I want the communication to come from the furthest guy. So in this case, if they're attacking from my right back, my left back needs to be communicating because they can see the whole line of defense and the players are running in. And those are one of my big rules. Make sure that we don't ball watch, make sure that we are aware of our surroundings, our zonal area we need to be defending. We really need to be focusing on the compact area, the center of the field, to be able to lead that more to outside. Obviously, this is a tactical thing. You might be playing a different style, but as you know, I play a 3-4-3, very defensive mindset. And then, my biggest rule for my defenders is nothing bounces around you, and then nothing goes behind you. Those are the two big major rules that I have. Nothing bounces. One bounce, and I always tell them one bounce is too many. Because it's good smart forward, as you know, you were a center forward and you're a smart player. When we play, I can see that too. You want that bounce because you could easily touch it and change the direction of it, or you can put your body in between and pull a foul. And winning the first ball is critical. And winning the first ball facing out as a defender and seeing the next pass without a senseless kicks. Obviously, we don't want that from our defenders either. We want them to see their options before they're winning that ball as well, so they can lead it to the next player that could have the next attack starting for us, right?
Yeah.
But those are kind of my small rules that I have for my defenders. Is there anything that you agree with those, or you also want to add to the way that you play?
Yeah, I think those are all really valid, fair points. I've evolved as a coach, and I don't want to steer off topic, but I really nowadays, I'll take a look at my roster and see what I have, and even to a sense, if I know who are playing, I really, base my formation and the way that we're going to defend and how we're going to defend off of those two things nowadays. So I have a little bit of flexibility in what I like to do. My biggest principle when defending is to stay connected, and I think that goes vertically, or horizontally, either which way. Stay connected. Make sure you talked about cover. If you're not connected, there's not cover. So I play a 4-3-3. My boys, because I got them so late, I adapted to kind of what their style was. And some games when we played Issaquah, for example, we pressed high up the field, all of us together, and exposed us a little bit in the back on occasion, but that's the way we wanted to go. When we had to travel to Yakima and play CWS, a team that is just as good as us, we traveled pretty short. I want to say we only had 12 players, and we needed to tie bare minimum to win the league. We sat in. We stayed connected. Like you said, we didn't allow the ball to bounce when long balls came in. We tried to win the first and the second ball. So all those things were super important on that day when we were trying to defend. And like I said, a 0-0 would have done it. We actually ended up, defending so well that they got frustrated. And I think that, Atletico Madrid's a good example of the frustration levels that they can cause to good teams, right? And Atletico doesn't necessarily always just win 1-0. Sometimes teams get so frustrated and open up so much that Atletico is getting 2 or 3 or 4 goals on them. I share those same principles to a certain extent. With that being said, like I said, it kind of depends on who we're playing. My 08 girls are very, very athletic, and we play on a 9v9 field. So for me, I figured out the best way to coach them and us is we press it into the 18. We press so high, right? And again, it's such a small field, and you're playing against young girls. You go and press, they make mistakes. We barely have to move the ball to, we're usually when we win it, we're right at the goal. So I have a couple different, philosophies on that. And if you are going to press high, it can't just be 1 or 2 defenders. The whole team has to go. You have to start cutting off the second and the third ball as well as pressing the first ball. So And my biggest principle, I guess I would say yours is like, the one that's not bouncing. Mine is, if there's an opportunity to have two go and press, if there's an opportunity to outnumber, I should say, defensively, I ask all of my players to take that chance. I think that if you can get there and you're pressing and you're working hard enough, you're going to cause problems, and it allows, somebody to maybe, maybe leave their position, but to still, as they're going forward, to cut that lane off so they can't go that direction. So that's my main principle, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I love them. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I actually agree with your subject. Like, with the players that I have in different teams, I play different styles too. Like, one of my teams is more technical based, and I like to possess the ball. Even though I'm defensive, once we put the ball in their half, we possess it and we keep it there. And we look like an attacking team in some of the games. We look like we're attacking with 7-8 players all the time. But sometimes you get players that technically not gifted, but physically gifted, and try to play a little bit more direct style. And you have a couple guys in the team that has the technical ability, so they want to just play Barcelona, and it's hard for them to kind of adjust to that. But like, once they get into that idea, this is how we're gonna play because this is our strength, and I think they do a better job. Last year, have you played against Peradores from Belgrade?
Yeah.
They have a pretty good team. I think last year, maybe the 99 or 2000 team, they were like undefeated for a long time. And we had their A and B team, and we played their B team the first day, and the second day we were going to play them, and they were undefeated, and they beat us pretty easy first time, and we were in second place. And one of the things I saw that in the first game, their defenders were all like center mid type of players. They liked the ball, they loved doing moves in the back, they were really technical, and they all wanted to show off. And in that game, I found out that they were having a UW coach watching them, and also they had a video recorded. This one of those technology things, it follows the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So they spent a lot of money. So I was like, and they were supposed to be watching these center backs. So I came up with this idea. I'm going to be stepping really high to these guys because they know how we play.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to surprise them. So we actually played Jay with 2-5-3.
2 in the back?
2 in the back. And I stepped everybody high. And we looked like we were playing with 6 forwards. But I just knew that every ball was short for them, for every goal kick. So they wanted to come out with incredible amount of passing, and they wanted to, and they wouldn't change it. If they changed it, I was going to change my system. Mm-hmm. But we stepped up, and they were undefeated for a long time, about 20 games or something, and then we ended up beating them 4-1. And the whole game was 8-2-5-3. And it's crazy, and we put the pressure.
They tried to possess against us as well.
So it's important. I think you can adjust as a coach, but it's important also your players will be able to willing to listen to. So
I think you made a good point before you talked about the Patadoras, and the key word was playing to your players' strengths, right? I think that's the most important thing, and getting the players to understand that you're trying to do that, and you're trying to make or help them be successful when you're trying to do that. And sometimes that gets lost in players when they want to do something, that might be a little bit out of their realm. With that being said, it's also, their game, and you want them to be able to, feel like they can excel in their way. So.
Oh, I agree. Like, I just feel like, also, honestly, one of the things that I face is the players really need to be able to listen to the tactical changes. And I feel like those are the ones that goes far in college and further.
Agreed.
Ones that, like, I still want to play the way I want to play. Those guys seem to be seen in the 5-10 years later in Sunday leagues more than the college and pro leagues. They just need to be following the team principles, following the expectations as a team, and I think those guys definitely go far. I hope you agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I know for I played obviously, here, around here in college and a little bit of D2 stuff, and the majority of the game was tactics at that point. We were all pretty good technically, and we were all, very, gifted physically. And most of the games came down to a chess match almost of who was better tactically and who had a better game plan. So, if you can't, here's the thing is if you can't make those adjustments tactically when you go to college, your coaches just won't play you.
Exactly.
That's just what happens.
Exactly. No, I agree. Well, Jay, thank you. I will send you this video too. If you want to use it for your players too, you're welcome to use it. It's always good to see you. I hope your success continues, man. You deserve it.
You too, brother. I appreciate it. It's good to hear from you, man.
Thank you, man.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate it, Jay, Vela, everybody. I want you guys to know that he's a good friend of mine, and he's a good tactical mind, and it's always fun. Like I said to you guys and him, it's always fun, talking to him about soccer and tactics. As you can see, some of the mutual things we agree on, how an ideal player has to be, right? I hope you guys get those messages. And one of the things is, of course, is your commitment to the training, and especially these things, these tactical things that we do with the tactical board. And I get some people saying, "Oh, we haven't been training. It's not like yes, you have been training." This is actually very important. Like most of the professional teams around the world, guys, they do once or twice a week all these tactical sessions in their, some of them from home, some of them from their, classroom sessions in the club facilities. So these are actually very, very important for you guys to learn, because tactical knowledge is actually more important than you guys playing with your friends and kick the ball around without a plan. Every plan, and when you play different games, like Jay said, depends on who you're playing. We're going to be changing the system, and good coaches, great coaches, they always change the system. Depends on the team they're playing, and you need to be able to fit into that. So I've dealt with players that I changed the system because we needed to put more offensive players, and we wanted to play more direct, but they just when we changed it to that system, they just wanted to play their own way again. So they just messed up the whole game plan, and they're not looking good because they're going to be losing the ball when they're making that choice. So they need to be able to stick to the plan of any coach. Some of you guys dealt with some of your college coaches to club coaches that you didn't like before. You guys complain about. But the bottom line, guys, no matter where you go, Gala or any other club or college somewhere, or somewhere you guys hopefully gonna play pro or semi-pro, you're gonna need to listen to the coach's plan, because if 11 of them is not gonna be in the same place, you guys definitely gonna lose that battle every single time. Like there was a time that Real Madrid played with about 17, 18 players, incredible high, level players, the best in the world. Nobody ever had a budget that big before, but they weren't successful. Look at Real Madrid, like they won 3, Champions League in a row almost. But before that, there was like 10, 15 years they didn't win anything, even though they had the best teams in the world, the best players in the world. And one of my coaches at the time used the term, I think this is very important, Real Madrid, too many generals, not enough soldiers. I want you guys to pay attention to that. Too many generals, not enough soldiers. So if the players thinking they are in charge, they want to change it to what they want to do, that's a general, right? There's too many minds trying to do different things because they're all great. They're all thinking that they know better than the coach. And even if they did know better than the coach, some of them might. Like Zinedine Zidane was a part of that team. And now he won the Champions League 3 times with his first coaching experience in the high level league. And but the bottom line is they have to stick to the plan. They need to be able to. And this is an advice for you guys to be able to work with any coach. And it's important that if you want to look good, you need to fit into the system first. Okay, because if a college coach is going to be watching you guys, they're not going to care about how many nutmegs you made and how many incredible shots you took from 47 yards. They're going to be watching, if any top level coach is going to be watching where you go in the field, how you cover your teammates, how you're going to be attacking, where you stand, are you good at off the ball movement, all that stuff goes into the subject. And if you're not a part of the system, you're not going to look that good, because you're going to look like you're an individual, and no college coach wants to recruit an individual. This is why we see so many talented players. Everybody's always like, especially their parents, that's the worst thing you can do. They're like, oh my God, you're incredible. And then the time comes, we are college years and we're going to try to get him a college scholarship, but he's an individual mind. And no college coach wants to deal with that. He wants them, any of the players to be able to fit into a system, to be able to be heard, right? And they're not going to give you a chance, okay? So I hope that you guys understood that mentality. I'll take any questions right now before we continue with the board session. Let me see. Jawad is asking. Jawad is a complete team player. He has been fitting into the system of Barcelona so well that when he plays for Argentina, he doesn't really get the system. He's not like those are more individual based players, and Argentina, it doesn't matter how much talent they have, they are more like that, what we talked about, too many generals, not enough soldiers. But Messi is one of the soldiers in Barcelona. He does the work when it's necessary. Like maybe last couple of years he's been getting a little bit older, a little bit tired, but like generally speaking, if you look at Messi's stats, like you look at it like a basketball player's stats, he actually steals the ball and gets a lot of tackles in there, and a lot more than most of the Barcelona defenders. Like you need to see that defensive work from him. He's definitely a soldier and a superstar. So I think the success level of that and the respect he has from Barcelona fans is because of that, because he's not just the best player in the world or one of the best players in the world, and he's playing with heart. He's playing for Barcelona, and you can see that's a big difference. Anybody else has any questions or comments? Okay, I want you guys to look at this. This is a 3-4-3. When we're defending and the ball is with that player, I'm going to be repeating some of the positions. This player right here, number 3, is a left midfield. 2 is right midfielder. This 3 is all center backs, 6, 5, and 4. 8 and 10 right here in this picture is the D-mids. 11 is the left forward. 7 is the right forward, and number 9 is the center forward. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. So this is a general team shape. When the number 6 on the other team has the ball, it's a decent team shape. So when you're looking at this team shape, it's a decent team shape. Like I said, I like it to a point, but there is 3 players that could be in a better position. I want you guys to now send me in a private messenger, if you have a messenger or somebody you can tell that to to the one of the coaches, they can send it to me. I want you guys to send me the numbers you think that could be in a better position. There is 3 numbers in here that should be in a better position. Okay, I'm waiting for your answers. I want you guys to analyze this. You see where the ball is? The ball is right here. And for the 3-4-3 system, and we talked about this with defensive shape so many times, I really want you guys to think now and adjust. Well, they have the ball, yes, Jason. We're defending shape. That's why I said this is our defensive shape, right? The number 6 on the other team has the ball. This is our defensive shape. There is 3 numbers, 3 players that should be in a better position. 3 numbers, 3 players that we need in a better position because we care about our team. So you need to send me 3 players and their numbers, and I just go over the numbers again. I'll say it again. The left mid is here, number 3. Right mid is number 2. Defenders are 4, 5, 6 right here. 8 and 10 D mid. 11 is left forward. 7 is right forward, and number 9 is the center forward. So with our system, all right, I'm gonna be talking about this. This is not a moving board. This is a picture. I'll go back and get into the moving board too if you guys want me to. All right, so most of the players we can adjust a little bit better, but the most critical ones for our system is in the wrong spot. Is this player? I'm going to be talking about it right now. Is number 2. Number 2 needs to be sliding in and compact the center area. Number 2's position, there is no reason to man mark this player for sure. Okay, he needs to be sliding into this area right here, which is also is going to allow number 8 to slide to the center more, and that will allow the number 10 to be able to step to more areas. But you cannot be leaving a big gap is where the ball is, so you need to be sliding a little bit more towards the center. But the most important thing, one right here, guys, whoever said number 2 is critically correct. Okay, number 8 is the second most important one in this situation. Okay, and number 7. Those are the 3 the most important for our system. So 2 should be around here, 8 should be a little bit more center and a little bit deeper, and number 7, what do we talk about in the practices? This 11 is pressing the player, which needs to make the number 7 coming from the opposite side a little bit deeper. That will allow the number 10 to be a little bit deeper and cover different areas as well. So this will slowly change the whole system a little bit. But the most important 3 players, guys, if you say 2, 8, and 7, you're correct, because it's gonna change the whole team system. Okay, does that make it clear for you guys? Because that's very important to make it compact. Those guys kind of changing the whole team shape. Some of you guys said number 3. I'll say, because the ball is looking this way, I say the number 3's position is good. Look at where the ball is looking. If he cuts it this way, he's looking for a long ball. Number 3 needs to be deeper, correct? Okay. Number 9, right now he's not looking that way. He's in a good spot, because if he steals the ball, he's in a center area to mess up their defensive shape. Once he gets the ball, the outside 7 can go wide. Number 11 can go wide. Number 10, number 8 can support the number 9. And we can start a counter attack with it going wide, or drop it back to the center mid and go from there. Does that make sense? Please make a comment that it makes sense to you, and if you have a question, please let me know. Unfortunately, in the games, we see this a lot. Like, one player is doing their job, but the other one is just like man marking somebody. He just needs to be deeper. All he has to do is, then, you know what they're going to do? They're going to be going wide. They're not going to be going this way. They're not going to be going forward. So it's important that we are in a good shape. Okay? So I want you guys to look at this. Now we are defending again, but in their half. Okay? In their half. Is there any player that you see that right now, I'm going to be telling you, if you're thinking, oh my God, I see so many mistakes. For our shape, there is only one player that could be in a better shape. One or two. And if you want to choose top 3 again, that's fine too. Now this is you see that we created a triangle. Number 9, number 7 comes from here to be deeper. See, he's deeper than 11 this time, unlike the last time, right? And he's covering this guy. Look at where the ball is looking. Melissa, if you guys watched the last sessions, you would know this is actually, these 3 players, guys, are in a good spot. Because they are going to be locking that area. Okay? So they're in a good spot. Please do not even mention them because they're in a good spot. This is what I want. This is exactly what I want. And the defender with the ball is going to make mistakes if we do it like this. Okay? Alright. I'm going to be talking about this now. So with our system, when you're pressing like this, you are making them make a problem, like make a mistake, right? So depends on the situation. This could be a good shape at the communication, right? So maybe this number 3 is not aware. He's just more worried about number 7. Maybe he's in a good spot because that's what he's marking. And number 6 is aware of number 10. Maybe they communicated. And this could be okay if the player sees a long ball. Maybe 9 is not stepping for him to. Our whole purpose with this triangle is not allowing them to do a long ball. We want them to try to pass and get up from defense. Do you understand that? So he should not let this happen. But if he's letting it happen, this guy is about to pass that ball, they're not necessarily in a bad position to recover. Okay? Yes, they can be in better position. But this is the biggest problem I see in here is the gap right here. This gap right here. The gap that we're leaving in the center area. Okay? So number 8 should be stepping to this gap. And number 6 or number 10 could be a little bit more center after that. But like, look, one player's movement is going to change the rest of the behavior. Do you understand that? So that's why I said one player. So if the player steps to this gap, these guys are going to be more central. And number 3 is going to be more central. Okay? So number 8, how important it is for a center mid to be in the right spot. Okay? So it's critical that you guys understand this. When our center mids are not in the right spot, it affects the rest of the players. Just like when the defense is trying to organize, if a center back that is in charge, number 5, is too wide, it's messing up the whole defensive shape. So we need to make sure that number 5 in a 3-back system tries to stay central as much and as long as he can. Okay, obviously that's when some areas that he's gonna cover, when it goes over number 4, he's gonna have to go wide and get the ball. And at that point, anyway, what we talked about last week, number 4 becomes number 5 because he's covering him. So they changed their roles, right? We talked about that changing roles. So does that make sense? One player affects the rest of the players' behavior. Number 8 should not be that deep when there is a space right here. If this guy decides to beat the player, number 7 is going to be stepping, right? And that's going to be leaving even more of a gap. Now, a lot of you guys send me number 2. So this is actually very bad because we talked about this number 2 role. So what do we say about the right mid slowly sneaking in there if this player he doesn't want to go back and he wants to drop it back to goalie, or he wants to open the game to number 3. So number 2 is sneaking in this area. I would even say he could even be closer to this area, but he's in a blind spot right now. So number 2 being that high and not staying with this guy, remember what we said about opposite side, outside mid needs to be ready to step for a possible open in the game. Does that make sense? Please make a comment about number 2 if you understand it. So I would even say a little bit even further. But I like where he's standing because he's kind of hiding himself there. And if this player turns the ball this way and he's looking for a long pass, he should already be here and bomb. He's one-on-one with the keeper. Please make a comment. You understand? You can make a comment here. You don't have to send me a private message. Make a comment here so we know you understand. The number 2 is stepping. What do we say in the game? What we say is cheating. We want number 2 to cheat. Normally, with our shape, number 2 should be staying with number 11, right? So that will make the number 4 more central, so he doesn't have to worry about him. But in the opposite side, because we are going to be ready to attack, this is one of the biggest weaknesses. And last year when I was coaching Steelheads, we got this guy, Marcus, on the outside mid. He always ready for that cheat. and every time they tried to open the game from the same side, we stole it. So the other team's coach said, yeah, when they're doing that triangle on you guys, open the game quick, and Marcus was ready to go from the number 2, and he stole the ball every single time. Okay, guys, I'm going to be moving on. I'm glad you guys got it. At least you say you did. We're going to be moving on to this area. So team shape is critical, right? So I want you guys to now, this is the right forward, left forward. So I want you guys to see from how we move it. Now, if a player, this player on the left side, from here, or left back is dribbling the ball, okay, this is the responsibility of the right forward in this case, right here. Do you see how I'm running? I'm not running behind him, I'm running in front of him. So I'm going to be what we call in Europe, when I played the welcoming party, okay? So the opposite side player, unfortunately, a lot of times they just slide, but they're in a bad position to now, because they're not covering this area, this is making the D-mids cover more ground, which allows a lot more space in other parts of the center mid, okay? So it is critical. Now I want you guys to see this now shape. He can even move this way now if the outside player is deeper than this guy. Now I want you guys to see this is the D-mid, this is this is not the D-mid, this is the D-mid, and this is the outside forward on the left side, okay? And the center forward is sliding to the center area, okay? But he's not, we don't want him to go so far out, unless we know this is going to be a for sure mistake. He's looking to drop the ball, like this player is looking to drop the ball. He can, kind of in the blind spot sneak in like this and steal the ball right away. But don't run in front of him. Be smart, like be in the blind spot and make a diagonal run and steal that ball. Does that make sense? So, do you see the team shape now? Like, we are here in the center positions, and when we are in this shape, always see the left mid needs to be coming in here. Now I want you guys to see this. And if the player is looking this way, that will change the defensive shape too. They will probably slide a little bit more here, right? If he's looking forward. So, and here, I want you to see, I want you just to think that the blue player is you. And this is what we give you. Okay? What is the success level you're gonna have, you think? You can see that through ball maybe, right? You can see that through ball, but this guy needs to be ready to step. This is the triangle combination that we've been doing throughout the field with the forwards, right? He's gonna be ready for that if he is there. Oops, we lost the player. All right, we're just gonna be right here waiting for this, deeper in this area, and slide. Okay, so any questions about this? Do you see how compact we are? Do you see how much space we give to the center? Okay, so everybody understands. Any questions about this? I just want you guys to see how we respond to this. So a good team, the best choice for the blue team in here is probably either drop it all the way to keeper or pass it to this guy so he can open the game to the opposite side. Okay, let's just say that just happened. Okay, and we have nobody close. So now this is when the things start changing. This is very critical. You need to hear this. So what do we say originally? Okay, if the right back or left back is dribbling, that's the side forward's job now. So this guy should be defending that guy generally, right? But if they open the game quick and caught us off guard, now that's the key word. They caught us off guard. So now the roles change, guys. Okay? So this guy needs to start stepping to this guy, but he doesn't have to commit because there's a guy in here. and we need to be sliding. So he needs to become left forward in this case. He needs to become the left mid, the D mid. The other D mid needs to become his usual self, and this guy needs to become the other D mid. Center forward is himself, right forward is himself. He comes back to the center. Even closer here if he can make it, right? Alright. But we're gonna be sliding like that, and of course this guy is sliding to the center right here. Do you understand? And if there is no guy in here, like if he gets the ball, obviously he can step, and that will allow this player to step in here, and that's fine. Do you understand how important it is to change jobs? Like usually what do we say? The left forward is responsible to defend the right side, whoever is dribbling. It could be a center mid. As long as it's on his side, he's the first one to welcome him. Okay? But if the opposite team did a good job opening the game, we need to start changing roles at that point. Whoever is the closest from the girls team, let's just say Shay steps to that. Okay, from the boys team, let's just say Sam, when he plays left mid, he needs to step and become the left forward, and everybody else needs to start changing their positions. So it's really depending on where you are, but you need to create these triangles that you see in this area. Please make a comment that you understand that part. You understand that roles can change if they open the game quick. And I think, even though some of you guys and ladies are a little bit confident and maybe even cocky, I would watch this video and the rest of the videos more and more often. And you will become a much better player when you're playing for us. So you need to be very aware. What I just said is so critical. I'm just telling you guys, I hear some of the parents and players complaining about, oh, we just want to, of course you want to be in the field, but guys, this is so important. These information are so important. I wish I could always pass this information to all my players, but in training sessions we need to be working on technical stuff, tactical stuff, but not in detail in tactical stuff. So this is detail, and I think this is critical that you guys pay attention to this. Alright, I'm going to be showing you guys a video. This is when I was doing my licensing. I did a Gala U19 training session, and our subject, the first part was the orientation stage, which I was coaching the defense, and defense did a great job. They were so compact, and they were not letting any shots go through. So the second part, I worked with the offensive part. I talked to the offense about stuff. And I can actually rewind back and kind of you guys can hear the conversation that I had with them there. Just pay attention. It's about, some of the things we talked about up there to stay compact. So what we're going to do, obviously we have a hard time opening them. They're very compact, they're really central, right? So we need to unbalance their defense. How do we do that? How do we unbalance it? We can open the game quick, right? Opposite side. Maybe we're spending too much time dribbling into one space sometimes, and sometimes we have drops and we're not using them, and maybe communication needs to be a little bit higher, correct? So we want to make sure that you guys open the game quick and stay outside players stay a little bit wider, because we're too narrow for us to be able to see the open space and chances to open the game. Okay? If you're so compact, they're already compact. It's bunching up the center. We're not going to be able to possess the ball, correct? All right, let's go. I'm going to be on your side this time, and we're going to start right away. Good communication already. Well done, guys.
Go all the way to the yellow. Hey, you're going down the line. Hey, what?
Getting more attacking situations. You're number 10. That's it. Now get in, forward, get in, forward, get in, forward, get in, forward, get in. That's it. Very good. If we cross, are we gonna have an option there forward?
Yeah, jump one.
All right. Did you guys hear how many times a coach is repeating forward to get in when we are inside the box about to cross the ball? And I apologize, Alex, if you're watching, that was you. This is a ongoing problem for a lot of our forwards. And this is one of your issues. I think you'll be scoring a lot more goals if you are in a finishing position when we're inside the box, in a blind spot of the player, right? But most of the time he was spending too much time outside the box. And if I don't tell him, he's not even going to go in, because he wants to just receive the ball. And Isaac, you do that a lot too. So you need to be in a scoring position. You're not always going to get the short pass. And it's almost like some of you guys are thinking everything needs to come to my feet. Like as a center, like we need to possess the ball. Number one, I'm just going to tell you guys straight up, we're not using it as a false nine. So you're not following the direction of the tactic system and the coach. And there is some times that I'm going to be using it as a false nine, what does that mean, guys? For some of you guys, young ones, false nine means you can check and you can be like a number 10. You can be like a playmaker, center forward. So you can check and help your midfielders more often. That's what it means. Okay? Good. Come on, drops a little bit wider. Good idea, well done, Blue. Alright, freeze for a sec, listen up. Up there, if you're gonna ask for a drop, there is two players in the middle. You're on the straight square ball. Can we go a little bit wider and spread them out, right? So we can catch them off balance and open up their defense a little bit more if you're wider to receive the ball, so we can open the game quicker, correct? So if you're standing in the middle up there, you're hiding. We can't open the game. Let's go quickly, guys. Come on. And one, you got a number 10, so you need to be attacking a little bit more, buddy. Great ball. Come close a little bit to him. You're too far. Yeah. Talk. That's it. If you don't talk, they don't give you. Good. Punish him. That's it. Very good. Well done, guys. Good job. If you don't talk, they don't give you. Good. All right. Now I want you guys to watch this. This right here. If you pay attention to it, the center back, Dylan. I'm sorry, buddy. I put you on the spot right there. Dylan Tong. He has the ball, and the forward number 9 is doing his job. There's a outside forward on the right side, and the left forward is right by here, or I think number 10 in that row right now. But there is a triangle we just created. So when the player comes from this angle, and there's a player, center backs always look for the center area, the true ball. And because we have the guy up there, look what happens. And Dylan, again, I apologize for putting you on the spot. Good. Punish him. That's it. Very good. Well done, guys. Good job. So I wanted to touch that subject, guys. Like the triangle that you create with the two forwards coming back together and working together and sliding together is critical. It's critical because you're not giving them the easiest pass. What is the easiest pass in soccer for attack, right? What is the easiest pass in soccer for attacking? Going forward, going straight forward. Easiest place, a long ball or a direct ball, but going forward. If you give them that, they're going to be using that. So we need to make sure that we have our defensive principles. We need to make sure we lead them outside. If they're going to be able to, I apologize, sorry about that. If they're going to be able to possess the ball, but if they're going to be trying to go through the middle, that's where we steal the ball, just like in this case. So that was great triangle that they created. Let's see what happens.
since we went a little bit wider now, right? We spread out their defense a bit wider. Now we have more space through. Okay, it's always like sometimes you guys are so focusing on go to goal right away. But when we spread it out a little bit wider, now we have more space to go through.
Now, this point right there is a good point, but I'm going to be judging myself a little bit. I mean, he's making a good sense there. Me, Daji, what is that, 6 months ago? But one thing that I really want to make sure that you guys understand is you don't wait wide. Once we get the ball, we got to go wide once we have the possession of the ball in the center. That is going to make the center backs and the whole opposite team going to be spread out more. So it's critical. And the coach made a good point there. He said that if you guys are, when they were dealing with a compact team and your offensive area is compact too, we're not going to go through. That's exactly what they want from us. So it's important that our outside players, the moment the center mid gets the ball, as wide as he can, that's going to make a lot of sense, our offensive wise. That's going to create a lot of opportunities.
We need to do more of that. So you need to stand outside mid. Number 7, you need to stand wider. 11, you need to stand wider. If the opposites start attacking, we can check in there, be the forward you want to be. And our number 10 now, a little bit higher than before, and he's creating more space and giving you more options now, correct? Forward stay in a crossing position. We need to make sure that you're in a scoring position. If you keep checking, nobody's in there for a cross. All right, let's go. Beautiful. And now give me an option, but you're too far, too far. Come closer, come closer. Nice, good. Now talk, well done. And opposite side now, wider, wider, quick. He's too close. He's too narrow. You're too narrow. You're too narrow.
So that was Claudio right there. If he was wider at that pass,
he's too close.
See, if he was wider, the two blue that is in the center wouldn't be able to defend him right away. Do you see that? The build up, look at the build up right now. A little bit more, I think, yeah. That's a good move, by the way, Ahmed.
It's good. Now talk, well done. And opposite side now.
Ryan, good touch.
He's too close.
Look at how immediately, once we opened the game, and Brian got the ball from Ahmed, if Claudio made a run wider, it would have spread out their defense more. Then you could make a run to the center, because now this is the key. Okay, guys, this is, I hope that you guys hear this, what I just said. So let's just say we're in offensive position now. Let's just bring their 4 defensive players. They're going to be more compact, right? So once this forward gets the ball, let's just say, and he drops it back to the center mid and they're recovering, let's just say we have space. This is the right forward. So if once he gets the ball, if he's here, immediately it's easy to defend him, right? But when he's dropping the ball to this guy, if he's running wide to here, he's going to have a lot of space to dribble, number one. Number 2, if he goes wide and the player goes, oh yeah, he's making a run, I'm going to mark him, that gives the through ball to the view. That's even better. Now we go into the goal. So you going wide once we're coming outside forwards, once we are moving that way, you going wide is critical. It messes up their whole defensive line. Does that make sense? And that goes to the outside mids too. Okay, let's just say, one of these guys at the outside mid, I think I'm missing a player, by the way. So once, let's just say they're trying to possess, our center backs up here, you being here is not helping us. The moment that center back gives it to this guy, drops it, you should be sprinting as wide as you can. Now you have so much space to deal with. And you can pass a ball on the wide and go from there. Unfortunately, guys, you think you know this stuff, but when it comes to game time, you're not doing this. This makes soccer so simple. One of the easiest things about, look at, by the way, I just looked at the numbers. People came in and watched and then they left 20. I appreciate everybody that is staying. And unfortunate for the players who left and more leaving, I guess, now, because this is important points. You just need to pay attention to this off the ball movement. and some of you guys thinking maybe I know I do it, or you don't. You don't. I see you at practice. I see you at the games. If you do this every time, you will not be playing for me. You will be playing for the Sounders right now. Okay. So and I love that you're playing for me. Don't get me wrong. And we are a great club. But if you wanted to play the highest level in Washington State, that's Sounders, right? So if you do this off the ball movement every single time, you belong at the best level possible for Washington State. Okay, so I hope that you guys saw that, and I highly encourage you guys watch this session many times, because this was an important one. There was a lot of key things that a lot of people were confused about that I covered today. I hope that, and the opposite side too, what happens when the other team can open the game quickly. That one, like how people need to take each other's positions, is critical. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody that stayed and watched the whole time. I'm doing this for you all. I hope you appreciate it. Thank you, guys.